We don't know if it fit just design.
Hi, welcome to the Do I or Don't I guess is the way of putting it, playlist. So what I'm going to do here in this specific video is I'm going to discuss the problems I had with getting agents to behave. I'm an old school programmer that usually relies on natural logic, like if, else, do this, do that kind of format where I don't have a child to deal with. And I kind of like learned a lot of frustrations about working with AI agents and AI prompts. They're not like my old school thought process where you can actually control the flow. When you get uh, an AI thought pattern that you don't have control over and it can make its own choices, it can get very frustrating when it does the wrong thing. Kind of like reminds me of my kids when they were growing up. They knew the right thing, but just to piss me off, they wouldn't do it. And that's basically the frustrations I had. When I created the AI back end system, it took me a day or two. When I created the functions that you'll see within VoiceFlow, again, 4 or 5 hours. I had them all done. When I came to create the actual agents and the prompts to actually make this work, we're talking 7, 8 days because I wrote prompt after prompt and it would either hallucinate or it wouldn't flow through properly. It wouldn't populate variables. Very frustrating. So I'm going to tell you about a few of my processes that I had to go through and how I tried to resolve these situations within this video series. So the first one I'm going to talk about is where I'm going to talk about the entry system, which is when the first when the user actually first interacts with this AI agent. So they go to the website, they open it up. The first thing I found out is I didn't want to retain any memory. So that's why you'll see me here. I clear all the memories. And that's probably more of a problem that when I was writing it, I'd be repeating this so many times that it would start getting hallucinations because of the last test that I had. It had information in it that would carry into the new one. So I just for good housekeeping, it's just clean everything out before I start. So that's what that one's about. So it comes in and it goes into the main routing agent. So let's take a look at the prompt here. Now there's different ways that I went through trying to create these prompts, and I saw a few people on as what do they call that again? Discord, where they were frustrated that they couldn't get the paths to fire, or they were having trouble with variables. So here's a few things that I learned about is within the support agent, directly in the prompt, I couldn't save any information to a variable. I could read information from variables, but I couldn't save it. So the only way that I could achieve that was through the path. So if let's say I go into the path here, if I wanted to save a variable going forward, I'd put it into required variables. So let's say I wanted to save a session, I could put it in there. Or if I wanted to save the field that was coming in to go out, I would save it there. But I didn't have any need to save it in this specific situation. Then I found this to be key on actually on how to, in order for this to be triggered, the information that you put here is important. Like the name is important and the description is important because this is actually what will pick up more about when it's going to fire rather than what you'll find out under the instructions or the main prompt you find in here. So there's a few iterations I had to go through to have that understanding. For instance, here in bill of sale, it says that, look, I'm looking for something where it says once you see a template or something similar. And then again, the name bill of sale was important. Now you'll see that when I do my demo, I explicitly got to say bill of sale. Now it was so like I went through so many prompts. I had Grok make me prompts. I had Claude make me prompts. ChatGPT make me prompts. I made my own. I tweaked them. I got strict with them because they were just constantly doing the wrong thing. It was very frustrating. Like I said, it was dealing with a child. So finally, I got it to a point, and then this is kind of like what I'm getting at is that if you really want this to work right, it's going to take some work to have it to do consecutively what you want it to do. These, what I've discovered with these AI agents, they're more of a conversational element. They're not really very good at business rules and following rules, like a toddler. I keep on referring to this as a child because trust me, like I'm 67 years old. I've dealt with a lot of immature children, and this is what it kind of like felt to me. So, anyways, to move forward, I found out that I had to put in a bunch of mandatory um, kind of like prompt information to make sure that it tried to collect the information properly to not make mistakes filling out the PDF. Now, this was important because when it actually submits the information to the API, if there's any errors in that information that's submitted, you're just going to get back an error message and the user's going to have to go through the whole process again. You don't want that, right? So I'm looking here, don't fabricate any answers. Where's another point? I have to specify that it's an insurance broker because this is for an insurance company, right? And then I tried these redirects to path. That often didn't work. It relied more on what was said in here. So these people who are having trouble with using agents, focus a lot more on your path information than you do what you have in here. And don't be afraid to play with it. I'll give you an example. What I did for some of my kind of like debugging, what I would do is let me just break a path here. I'll break this path here. Come on, let me grab you. Okay, now that's broken. So now what happens is when this fires, I'll know when it fires. It's not going to be a mystery. So let's just run it. I'll run the test here. And I'll just say something simple like, let's say, hi, hi. Wants me to know my insurance needs. If I use the word emergency, fire that, boom, it ends. So right there, you can see that it fired on emergency. Now you got to know, like if I go in again, if I go into this and I edit this, it picked that up basically because of the name here. So if you truly want to get these paths to get fired off or to be triggered, this is where you focus on. So I hope that helps people that have been struggling with that. So let's move on to a little more about this one. I'll just reconnect this path here. Okay, so it determines two paths within this starting route engine or whatever route agent, whatever you want to call it. So if the person wants to create a bill of sale, it goes to create an available document. Now here's where I should have more paths based on different criteria. Or I can, hopefully this gets to be smarter that I just have to call it document, and then it could be handled on what kind of document it is at a later date. But this is going to be an evolution for everybody. So we just got to remain patient and to try and help it along as much as we can. So in the beginning, what I'm going to be doing is if I want a bill of sale, I'll put a bill of sale. If I want emergency, I'll get emergency. So this will dictate my paths rather than trying to do it dynamically within the prompt itself. So the emergency agent, I showed you what that's going to do is if, let's say somebody has a sewer backup or something like that, it's going to jump into this agent and use the knowledge base appropriately to get information from what I've uploaded I uploaded the Bell Insurance website, which has all the information on how to deal with emergencies. So that was pretty simple. Then if it jumps into, they want to create a bill of sale, then we go into the component, get available bill of sale. So I'm going to stop here and you'll have to watch the next video to go through this because I don't want to make my videos long. Have a good day. Leave comments. Stay in touch because I want feedback on this and whether or not I'm going to pursue it for everybody. Have a good day. Go to the next one. Have a great day.
We don't know the fifth, it just design. Smart solutions, clean, refined. No wasted steps, no extra weight. CanTech minds we automate. But keep it simple, make it smart. Let the AI do its part. No confusion, no delay. Just one touch on your way.